All right, we're ready. All right,
Okay.
Today we're going to talk about Port Royal, and Carol Keller and the group are going to tell us how to sell it. So Carol, take it away.
Well, I think the most Port Royal's claim to fame, and I have lived there and we've been saying this for 30-some years, it's the only private oceanfront plantation development on the island. There is no commercial activity in Port Royal. Port Royal, the expense of living there is you pay an annual fee. It's just under $1,300. I think it's $1,298 this year. There is no transfer fee in Port Royal. You do not have to belong to the golf clubs in Port Royal. I do have a flyer that I will give to Glenda to upload with all the fees for the golf course. And when you're showing Port Royal, or you go into Port Royal, I think one of the things that I've always liked the best about it, it's very laid back. It's not a very showy place. The lots are all, well, not all of them, the lots are basically full size, 1/3 of an acre to larger, although there are, close to the ocean, some patio homes and home sites. What else can I tell you? Inside the plantation, there is every amenity there. There are tennis courts, pickleball courts, whatever that means. There is a large Olympic-sized pool, and the pool is, when you show Port Royal, or when I talk about Port Royal to people, I say the island is a shoe and Port Royal is the heel of the shoe. The beach club sits right here at the very tip of Port Royal. I mean, part of it's ocean and part of it's sound. Well, right where that meets is where the beach club is. And the beach club is a lovely, big structure where you can have private parties. There are art classes there. There are fitness classes or exercise classes. There are, what?
Weddings.
Oh yeah, weddings, all kinds of. I've had Alan's birthday party there. I mean, there's a lot of that sort of thing that you can do. And there's really no charge. You put a deposit down on the clubhouse, and if you don't clean it up, they'll take a cleaning fee out of the deposit.
But that's only for property owners, right?
Property owners, yes, it is
Okay.
only right at this time.
Okay.
There are bike paths, they call them leisure trails, throughout the plantation. You can walk or bike, probably if you did the whole thing, it's about 5 miles. There are a lot of open spaces in Port Royal, which makes it very, I mean, it's just not house. We have an arboretum, which is, I think, 6 acres. People in the plantation, if they choose to do so, go and make sure there are pathways and plants are marked, and you can learn a lot about the native habitat there.
Where is that?
That is on Fort Walker Drive.
Okay.
And I have a map of Port Royal, if you want to put it. Oh, I'm not going to get up and do pointing.
Well, I might have to do that.
Oh, good. I'm old, you know.
I hear you. And this way I can
All
do
right,
the
well,
camera better.
I'll do a tour the way I would
Yeah.
do a tour. of
Okay,
Port Royal.
that'd be good.
Anyway, trying to think of what else. There are beach walks. There are probably 20 dedicated beach walks. So if you live interior in the plantation, you can still ride your bike or walk and go down, get to the beach. You don't have to just go to the beach club. Let me see what else. There are 2 historic sites. There are probably more than 2, but the Steam Gun is a site right at the very end up here, and it's an open space. Sometimes people park along here and go to the beach. This is on the Sound, but there's also Fort Sherman, right in here somewhere, right here. And that's a big set-aside open space. The tennis courts are over here, and that's a big open space. In the last couple of years, they have made or allowed people to have gardens. They put aside a space up by the tennis court. So if you're a gardener, like in Hilton Head Plantation and Sea Pines, you can, there is a fee for that, but it's maybe $20–25 a year. It's not very much, but so there is gardening now if you choose to do that. During the summer, there's a lady that twice a week does water aerobics and a lot. I mean, that pool, it's a huge pool, and it is full of ladies doing their water aerobics in the summer. That is a free feature there. The Arboretum is 6 acres.
And where is it?
The Arboretum is, if you go into Port Royal and you take the first left and go down here, this is the site right here. If I were showing Port Royal, and that's, you know, the first time that I meet with people and talk about Port Royal, I go through and tell them, you know, here we are on the Sound and the ocean. And then I take them, I try to do this, it's kind of hard because when you go, Port Royal has two, you know, you go down the center and around, but I do take them down here and I show them the tennis courts, particularly if they have any interest in tennis, and down here to the steam gun and past the Arboretum, and then drive down. This is a very lovely drive, beautiful homes here, and take them down to the beach club. People like that beach club. And there's a playground here if you have children, grandchildren. There's a nice playground. Then coming around this way, it goes up. The Westin and all is adjacent to us, but not in the, I mean, it's very important to people that they're very proud of their privacy in Port Royal. So, you know, you can show that that's all blocked off, but it's close. I mean, if you're down on the beach, you can, no, I can't say you're allowed to do that, but some people stop there and have a lunch or something like that. Barony Lane is a newer section of Port Royal, and when I say newer, it's not all that new anymore, but I mean, it was newer than, I mean, some of these houses are probably, geez, 50 years old maybe at this point. Then some of the areas like Ocean Point, Seabreeze, and Fairway Winds were all developed on the site of the old original Port Royal Golf Club. And those are all patio homes, but very nice and large sized patio homes, but with an easy access to the beach and beautiful views. These are all great locations. Those are the only, there are some zero lot lines, but patio size homes there. Ocean Point is a very nice area. There are some zero lot lines there, but it's a very nice complex that has its own little entrance. They have a pool. They also have a fee. It's the only place in Port Royal that has a separate additional fee for their pool, and I think they take care of their yards. And I don't know, I would have to tell you, you'd have to look that up on the website to see how much that is. There are 3 golf courses. 2 of them are within Port Royal. We do not own those golf courses, but Barony, this is Roberts Row, and this is Barony. Also, Planters Row golf courses, what you see, well, you see Barony too, but it gets a lot of play from the Westin Hotel. Port Royal Racquet Club is sort of adjacent also up here, and that's a separate membership. You can join the Racquet Club, the golf club at the same time. They have all various levels of membership. There's a clubhouse, and this is the Port Royal Golf Course's clubhouse. You can use this clubhouse. I mean, you can make arrangements if you don't want to be at the beach club. Beach club would be very casual. But you can go, there are a lot of weddings and functions there. And there is a private room for members only in there. And that's new within the last, I don't know, 5-6 years. It's a lovely building. I don't know, I think there are probably 900 homes in Port Royal. Most people in Port Royal are permanent residents. Some of them have them as second homes. It's important to know when you're showing that you cannot rent short-term in Port Royal. I meant to call, I believe that 3 months is the absolute minimum you can do a rental in Port Royal.
I thought it was 6.
No, I think it's 3. But I mean, you can check that. Anything that I'm saying, I'm kind of old, I'm very forgetful, so you can check. Here is the website, portoilplantation.net. And that's an open website. I mean, you can't get a pass or find out security things, but I mean, there is a ton of information in there. So I would highly recommend checking that site. There's a lot of good stuff in that site. All right, ask
Tell
me.
us as realtors, is there anything we should be aware of to keep us out of trouble that we need to check on if we're listing or selling?
I can tell you for a fact that about 20 years ago there was a sewer assessment in there. There were no sewers in Port Royal when I moved here. They put the sewers in, and at that time you had the option of paying it off at a discounted price or financing it over 20 years. And that is going to be up in about 2 years, I believe. And that bill comes to you annually with your Beaufort County tax bill. $670 some. There is about $1,800 left. If you list a house in Port Royal, find out if there is a sewer assessment. I mean, I just so happen to have had to pay somebody's assessment, so be sure to put it in the listing, because if it is not there, somebody's going to pay it.
Is there a possibility that someone did not connect to the sewer, like in Sea Pines we've run into that?
I just sold a house. I have a house that's closing this month on Barnacle. These little houses here, this one on the corner, is still on a septic system. The sewer is there and it's available and you're still paying the assessment. Whether you hook up or not is up to you. Now, once your septic goes, you would not be allowed to put a new system in. You have to, I mean, that was the whole deal. But I would guess, if I had to say, there are less than 20 houses left on septic.
Some red flags.
Right.
Is there any assessments or anything that anybody should be aware of?
Well, right now, a few years ago, and I will say this, we did this to ourselves, and I'm talking about realtors and probably the people in Port Royal. Business was horrible. Nobody wanted to have a transfer fee. So we have no transfer fee, which is good in some respects. However, there is talk and a study's been done, and we are probably going to have an assessment. I don't want people, it's going to have to be voted on, but our amenities they're not fancy, and I don't think we ever want anything real elegant, and it just wouldn't be the nature of Port Royal. But I think we will get a new pool. I think we will get a new beach club. And I believe the administration building. It's like a little shack there. It's not very impressive when you drive in. And yes, that probably will come to a vote soon.
Okay.
And I think it'll be similar to the sewer assessment. You will have the opportunity of paying it off or financing it with the plantation over X number of years. Something you should be aware of, because it's going to happen.
Okay, when I go into MLS and I'm looking in the Port Royal area, There's a lot of villas and townhomes. Can you kind of tell me how that works with Fort
Thankfully,
Royal?
they just got an '08 number as a villa. Adjacent to Port Royal, when you go into Port, you have to get to the Westin. You come through Port Royal and under the bridge. And as you're going, this is the Westin, as you come this way, you pass Port Royal Tennis Village. Tennis Village is not, they do have some security with Port Royal. I think all those regimes have a little drive-through once in a while. But there are probably 5 whole ownership, the Village House, Beckenham, Devonshire, the Lions, the Lynx, and Crown Reef are whole ownership condominiums, easy walk to the beach. I mean, I have dealt with that area for a long time, but they do not pay $1,298 a year. They are adjacent to, they look at the golf course, but and there are also back there lots and lots of timeshares. Ocean Palms is there as I think a 10th share, and there are a couple of weekly timeshare
the
units in there.
Barony?
Barony Beach Club, the Marriott Barony Beach Club, which is next to the Westin, and there's Royal Palms or Royal Dunes or whatever it's called also.
Okay.
One of the first ones as you turn right into,
You know, this is strange to me because my office used to be here and I was there for 25 years. But when you go to, heading toward the Westin and you go into Port Royal Village, immediately you take the right-hand turn and immediately to the right is Beckenham and Devonshire. There are townhomes and there are flats on the golf course, and you know, they're very Charleston looking. On the left-hand side is the Village House. It has parking underneath, and they're all 2 bedrooms except for the penthouses there.
Mm-hmm.
but I meant, we're just as you turn in off of 270.
Oh, the Links.
Okay.
That's Island Links it's called, and that is also a timeshare. And that's sort of adjacent, that sits on that Planters Row golf course. Lots of people, I mean, there are a lot of buildings back there and they have nice amenities. I do not know much about timeshare, but, and I think they're weeklies.
What about where your office used to be? What's there now?
Now the golf club my office is part of their office, and that golf club manages Oyster Reef, Port Royal, Shipyard, and I believe they are also doing one of the courses at Palmetto Hall now. So.
Okay, as Alan and I were talking this morning, he was saying in the paper that Hilton Head Town of Hilton Head wants to buy one of the golf courses. Have you?
They have, in fact, they are purchasing.
They are purchasing.
This Barony, and I think it's holes, I want to say 2 through, Planters Row, God. I think holes 2 through 17, they have bought.
So they're not going to use it as a golf course?
We do not know what they have plans are. Right now, the golf club is releasing it back for at least 2 years and will continue to use it. What they do after that,
Okay.
hard to say. I don't know. I mean, there is no plan that anyone knows
of. Another thing that came up with my discussion with Alan, would you tell us about in your newer clubhouse, the restaurant, what can you walk in there and show customers? Can you kind of tell us what we would find in there?
When you walk in, it's kind of an open, it's a beautiful building. When you walk in and it goes back and there's a patio in the back overlooks, what is that, the putting?
Looks mostly Planters Row.
Planters.
Not far from croquet courts.
Yeah, there's a croquet court, and I mean, it's a lovely view, and you can sit outside, you can sit inside. There's a nice big bar, which I particularly like, on the right-hand side when you go in. And it's just a nice open feeling. I mean, you could honestly do a 200-person wedding easily with the porch being covered, there's a fireplace out there. It's just a really,
Actually,
it's a
you
big-
do a bigger crowd than that. Marriott does their Christmas party there.
do they?
sometimes.
Well, I mean, it's,
Yeah, so, is that a public facility?
it is.
So anyone can go in there and
Absolutely.
enjoy your bar?
You, more the merrier, I always say. There's always been a bar there of some type or other. And same with bartenders, actually. The clubhouse is before, here's the clubhouse when you drive in. The gate is here, and there's a little turnoff here, so the public has access to that. To the golf course, there's also the membership at the Port Royal Golf Course gives the members use of Barony, Robbers Row,
It rotates every month.
just the two of them, and I think they
All
can
three.
play on planters if they want to. I don't think they rotate planters into that, but
And they've taken it out.
Do they pay do they play at a lesser fee because they're property owners?
I think Alan used to, as a Port Royal property owner, it depends on the time of year, I will say that, and I think there were times that he would get a rate a little bit less. But I mean, that would not be a reason to
Okay.
buy. That is subject to the golf course.
Well, After our conversation, that's kind of why I brought it up.
Can golfers eat lunch or get drinks after they've played in that?
Absolutely.
They
Okay.
usually do.
Could we
They
go there?
usually do.
We can go for lunch.
Oh, okay.
If you want to, you should take your people for lunch. That you just, Misty just sold a lovely home in there, a beautiful home. And you should, I mean, that would be probably a very good stop when you're showing property in Port Royal.
Okay.
I mean, if it's golfers or, that clubhouse is impressive. It's very, very
Do
nice.
they still have the beautiful stairway
No,
for weddings?
Oh,
they
no.
don't?
they tore that whole clubhouse down.
Oh.
Tore it down?
Started off what
Oh, wow.
used to be.
What
Oh, wow.
used to be there
Oh, the
was a
used to be is where
two-story, it
Marriott
looked like
had
a
their Christmas
southern
party.
Scarlett's
like
house.
terrace.
Yeah, terrace,
Okay,
exactly.
the used to be is where Marriott would have their big Christmas party, so the new one may
Okay.
not accommodate.
It's not as big as.
So
the
it's not the Terra
No.
thing?
No, it
Oh,
is not.
I'll have to go back and see it.
I've been to a function there where they had over 300 people each.
Okay.
In the new one?
New one,
Yeah, it's possible.
Okay. And restaurant, is the restaurant just lunch and dinner or
It is just lunch.
just
I
lunch?
don't think I mean, the clubhouse is not open now. The property owner thing may do dinners once in a while. That
Okay.
I'm not aware of.
Do you, I don't want to throw you a curve because I didn't tell you I was going to ask you this. How about your beach? I know Alan told me about the beach. Talk to me about the beach.
We have about 3 miles of beach. A few years back, all of the island
Shifted.
beach was renourished. Well, I mean, oh my gosh, my children grew up on that beach there. There was a long, but that has all changed. But when the beach was renourished, the last time they stopped at right past the West End, because there were some people who felt that some birds were going to be disrupted. So after a little struggle, they came back at great, huge expense and covered the Port Royal and renourished the Port Royal beach. That beach is, Mother Nature will work it out. It's a lot of soft sand. They put groins in. They're trying to grow that beach up again.
Okay.
At low tide, you always have good walking. If you're a walker, you still have to kind of watch the tides. And down on the Sound side, it's the same. It's absolutely beautiful. If you go to the beach club, you sit there and you can see people on Fripp Island. No, you can't see them, but I mean, you can see Fripp Island, but it's just a gorgeous view. Absolutely, if you're showing Port Royal, probably is nice to go at high tide because it looks really nice. But no, I mean, it's a very nice beach, and you should definitely go to the beach club.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions we didn't cover?
Port Royal Tennis Village, we have a listing at the Village House, and I'm always told that our owners can use the Beckenham pool, I think it is. But is that in writing somewhere?
Gee, I don't know, but I would swear to it. It's a fact.
And
I mean, that's all, they're really all the same regime, actually.
Before you got here, she talked about the website, what'd you call it?
Oh, no, that would be a different.
Oh, okay.
You would, I mean, if you had to have something in writing, then I would go to ASI, call Carolyn Neely. She runs the show over there, but I don't know how I know it or where I've seen it in writing, but they definitely have use of the Bechdel.
And that's the Port
thank
Royal
you.
That's Village House.
Village,
Village House.
Village House, okay, okay.
And Crown Reef does not have its own pool. They're just two little buildings there, and they have an agreement, which they pay for, to use one of the Ocean Palm pools.
Okay.
Ask me anything. I feel
Yeah,
like
any other
I've
questions?
lived there so long, I've forgotten everything that I've known.
Was there something recently that happened with the chef or some kind of personnel turnover?
Uh-huh. The plantation manager was terminated abruptly. I happened to be in Atlanta when that happened. I must have had 20 phone calls wanting to know what happened with Dan Davis. I mean, these are all, I mean, I guess there's rumors around the island. I have no idea what happened. It happened at about the same time that the town bought the golf course. You know, there was some talk about that. I don't know. Also, this just happened. I hate to see the third email. Our security chief and one of our security people were let go. And that was, you know, I mean, that's just something that happened, and if you hear rumors about it, I don't know why that happened either. I mean, I just don't know. We've had a lot of change here just in the last month or so.
Any other questions? The only reason I'm asking, I'm watching my time, and if it's a long question, I need to stop and start again. So, all good?
All good.
Awesome.
I will say, I mean, I will tell you something else. If you have a listing in,
The realtor card, can you not?
what?
You can get in with the realtor
Oh,
card.
you can
right.
get in with a realtor card. If you have a home listed in Port Royal, don't be going and telling your people you'll do an open house. You can only do open houses when the plantation says you can.
You can do
This
a
year-
realtor open house.
You do your
Not a
realtor open
public
house,
open
but
house.
no public open houses. Actually, this year we're gonna have 2 of them, but the realtors work on that, and it's easy. Also, and I brought these, and anybody wants one can have one. When you go to the gate now with a customer, tell them you're showing property, they will give you this.
Oh,
And
nice.
it tells, you know, all these little facts about Port Royal, and there's a card and a flyer. This is a really nice map, and this is all the golf club. And you can give this to your people, and they'll keep their stuff in it, so
Good.
that's there.
Anything else? Good? Perfect.
All right?
All right, we're good.